Okay, so I don't know a lot about runners, even though I ran a little track, but what I do know is that
track in high school.
I ran track in high school. I ran a little hurdles. But when I went and of course I Googled you. And so once I started to Google all the things that you had won, I was like, okay, so I didn't even run track in high school. That's what I came to the conclusion. Like I was not a track runner, because when I look at what you've done coming out of St. Louis, like you've been winning for a long time. But let's just start in the beginning. Did little Colleen know that you were going to be a runner? Like, what was that like? Like, when did you realize that this was your passion?
Not at all. Yeah. And I want to know the same thing for you. Like, did you always think you were going to be in the WNBA? Because I always think that's interesting. But for me, not at all. I thought for a while I played soccer and I did dance. And maybe I thought that I would be a dancer. But I actually didn't start running track until freshman year of high school. And so, yeah. And I was doing some modeling at the time too. And so
in high school, I saw that you modeled in high school. Like what? So wait, what kind of modeling did you do?
I had a small agency in St. Louis where I grew up, and then I had an agency in New York called Wilhelmina Models. And so I had,
No, ma'am, called the Wilhelmina Models. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Only Wilhelmina.
I guess you might know of them. Yeah, it was a really weird high school experience. I missed probably like 30 or 40 days a semester to go to New York, or like, I don't know, we got to go to some cool places like Mexico or like Turks and Caicos, or just like Paris, like fun places that I had never dreamed of going to before. My parents are both teachers. And so we didn't take like vacations like that when I was little. So it was really cool to go places that, I had never like dreamed of.
And so you were like doing campaign, like you were modeling. Like it wasn't, you know how like, I mean, I'm not, no offense to anybody, but you know how like there's a lot of models out there now. And so, but you were actually really going places
before like Instagram models. Like I was
yeah, no, you're like a model. Like that's like crazy. In high school. So then you just kind of like, what were you doing? Like what kind of like what was the dopest like campaign or thing you did modeling?
I don't know. So I went to an all-girls Catholic high school, like plaid skirt, collared shirt, like didn't shave our legs all week until the weekend because we never saw boys.
Like Britney Spears, oops, I did it again outfit, like all the way.
That was me, Nary Paul. St. Louis is weird. We have a lot of all boys and all girls Catholic high schools. Really strong Irish Catholic roots. So anyway, yeah, we I don't know. I've traveled around doing all kinds of fun stuff, and then I would go back to school. So I would show up in like 17 magazine or like Glamour magazine, and the kids at school would like have it when I got back, you know, like they would like bring it to school or whatever.
You were a celebrity in school.
Well, I don't know that it really helped the whole like girls, you know, making friends in high school thing, but yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, so you were a model, and then you were also really good. Well, you started running when you were a freshman. Did you realize you were good right away? Did people like notice right away you were good, or did it take time?
Kind of. So my dad actually was my coach in high school, which turned out to be super clutch because he was just an amazing coach. He really had like long-term goals, you know, in mind, and wasn't pushing me too fast, too early, and really let me develop and like have fun with the sport and not put too much pressure on me when I was young. So I think that was super key and helped me kind of develop naturally. So I wasn't, you know, winning the state meet my freshman year. I did end up winning my senior year, but it was, you know, it's like a trajectory to get there. It wasn't, you know,
you became player of the year your senior year as well. You got like all the accolades your senior year. Like, you got them all. And so then you realized that you could go to school for this, right? And you went to FSU. And so tell me about what that is like, because I mean, I'm an athlete as well. And so getting a scholarship, that's like, all right, I get to take this hobby, because in high school, it's really just a hobby for us. We have fun with it, but then you get to take it to the next level. What was that like, getting that scholarship?
Yeah, it was definitely not the plan, I would say. I thought, you know, with all this glamorous like trips to New York and stuff, I thought I was going to move to New York when I graduated and live in a model apartment with, you know, other women and make a bunch of money and become famous.
Yeah, I mean, you were on that track. I mean, honestly, I mean, it's not like you had the wildest dreams ever. I mean, that dream was just basically continuing what you were already doing.
Yeah, and I did have a lot of people in my life that were like in my modeling life that were telling me that I
Mhm.
should do that and like kind of pushing me that
Wow.
way.
That's
But I also
tough.
had this other kind of voice in my head saying, what about this other path, where you could accept a scholarship? I had a coach at Florida State, Karen Harvey, who was offering me a full ride to come run for her. They had just placed second in the NCAA in cross country as a team the year before. So the number 2 team in the country. And she's like, I want to
Yeah.
give you a full ride. And when she comes to Florida State, I'm going to teach you how to do the steeplechase, which is an event on the track I had never done before.
Yep.
And she's like, she's like all in on me. And I was just like, whoa, like I didn't plan for this. I don't know. And so I had to like make this really big decision my senior year. But, after my freshman year, I remember having this moment sitting in the dorm with my freshman roommate, Aubrey Warden. And I was just like, God, I thank God I'm here right now. Like I really
Really? So
felt,
that's what I was going to ask.
yeah, as soon as like even first semester, I was just like, I'm in the right place. I could not be happier. And I had zero
Beautiful.
regrets about making that decision. And yeah, ever since then, I felt like, whew, not like dodged a bullet, because I think it could have been good too. But I know
Yeah.
that it was just the right thing for me personally to do. And then, yeah, 4 years after that, or I guess 5 years after that, I qualified for the Olympic Games in 2016.
Come on
And
now.
yeah, then I was really like, thank God,
You made
like
the
I
right
got,
decision. But honestly, I mean, you probably could have been a supermodel, obviously, too. But I'm glad that you feel that you made the right decision in the sense of it's all mattered in what you wanted to do. So let's talk about, I mean, we skipped FSU where you blew out the record books and you did everything amazing there. But like we just kind of jumped to the Olympics. But let's talk about it though, because being an Olympian, I mean, it's something that I've never done in my lifetime. It's not a lot of people get that type of recognition, get to that level. What
yeah.
is a normal day like? Because I follow you on social media, so I see you running all over the place all the time. Like, and I just saw you post, like, you post the most dramatic photos of yourself after your workouts. But what is a
Actually, just
day in the
today,
life
I
like?
posted that just today, being like, this is embarrassing. I post some really dramatic selfies after I get done with my workouts. I probably need to chill with like,
Nah, don't chill, because that's what people need to understand. It's dramatic working out at the highest level. That is dramatic. I've been working out like that.
yeah,
But tell me what a day in the life is like with you. Like, how do you train for the
Yeah.
Olympics?
Well, first of all, for track and field, the Olympics is everything. Like, I know it's for a lot of people, it's a big deal, but like for track and field, that's all we have basically. Like, we don't
Yeah,
have Super Bowl or anything. Like, that's everything for us. And so for
yeah.
you to say, like, I haven't gone to the Olympics, like, you've done so many amazing things in your sport.
Thank
You
you.
don't
That's
need the
sweet.
Olympics, but but yeah, I mean, it is funny. It's only every 4 years, and obviously last year we couldn't have 2020 we couldn't have it because of COVID. So we're hoping to have it this summer, still in Tokyo in 2021. But typically it's only every 4 years, which is kind of wild to think about, like something that you look forward
Yeah,
to.
because do you train for the whole 4 years? I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
I say this all the time about, I have so many questions. Okay, so first let me ask, do you like in the 4 year span, let's say the Olympics ended today and this is this one, and then you have 4 years until this one. So, like, what is that? Like, how?
I know. I love your enthusiasm, your excitement. It's so great. Yeah, so we do have world championships every other year. In between those
Okay.
Olympics, we have world championships outdoors and world championships indoors every other year. We also have
Okay.
a circuit of races called the Diamond League Series, and they're
Hmm.
mostly in Europe. There's one in the US in Eugene, Oregon, but they have them in like Rabat, Morocco, and Shanghai, and London, and Paris, and Zurich,
Wow.
and they're all over. So, and those are really elite level races too, all summer with some pretty good prize money. So you
So you
can,
have things that you're actually
yeah,
doing in between that time.
there's
That's good to
always
know. So
nuggets.
okay, that's good because we don't like, as the casual fan, like
Right,
to your point, we know about the Olympics and we know about like some of the other big ones, but like the Olympics is the big thing. And
exactly.
so let's just say training today, what would like what's today look like
Sure.
for just a training day?
Sure. So right now I'm in Flagstaff, Arizona, which is about
Okay.
7,000 feet of altitude. So skinny air, hard to
Woo.
breathe. Sometimes I've been here for like 7 weeks, so I'm doing pretty good right now. But sometimes even if I
Wow.
talk too much, I'm like I lost my breath.
Really? It's like Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we go to
Wow.
Colorado Springs. There's an Olympic
Yeah.
training center in Colorado Springs, but with COVID, they've had to not let visitors come in for
Mm.
like shorter periods. Anyone who lives there obviously can stay there, but they don't allow people to come in for like camps because of
So they're
COVID.
almost
So,
bubbling it up in there, like just to
yeah.
keep it. Okay.
Totally. And my home base is in Portland, so I would just go there to visit. So just for now, they weren't allowing that, which was fine, totally understandable. So I came out to Flagstaff. A lot of runners come up here to train. Lots of dirt roads, lots of beautiful places to just get in a lot of miles
Yeah.
at, like I said, about 7,000 feet of altitude. So the point there being that you train at high altitude and your body gets used to that. We've been here for like 6 or 7 weeks now. And your body gets used to that, and it actually creates more red blood cells in order to bring oxygen to all your muscles. And then when you get back down to sea level, you have all this extra oxygen
You're a
carrying capacity,
superwoman. Listen,
but there's
listen.
more oxygen.
Because I've trained in Colorado at the USA Olympic. You know what I mean, like the place. Like I've
Yeah,
trained
the
there for the
training
16 and
center.
under and the 17 under. It's no joke. Like
Yeah.
when she's talking about that altitude, like it really makes you feel like you might have asthma, but you don't have asthma. But it's
Yeah.
like your chest feels
Yeah.
heavy. The altitude is. I'm just letting people know the altitude.
You
It
feel like
really is
lactic
no.
headache from training, like your head
Yes,
hurts. Yeah.
it's no joke.
Really hard, but it's so worth it because when you get down to sea level, you feel like a monster. It's so nice.
Crazy. So
So I'm
I
holding
bet.
on
So
to
how
that.
many miles do you run? Like what is that? Like, do
Yeah,
you run a certain amount?
sure. So like a typical day, I run like this morning. I ran kind of longer. It's literally called a long run, and you do a long run once a week. So this
Uh-huh.
morning I ran 15 miles, but usually in the morning I run like 9 or 10.
What?
Um, or if we go to the track, I do like a 3 mile warm up and then maybe like anywhere from like a 2 to sometimes an 8 mile
Oh
workout
my
and
god.
then a three
Oh
mile cool
my
down.
god.
So it could be like a 14-mile day on the track sometimes. And then sometimes in the
Oh my.
afternoon, I do a second run, which is like 3 or 4 miles, maybe 5 miles as a
I
double.
know you lying.
I run like around 80 miles a week when everything's going well and I'm healthy and training,
That's
constantly.
crazy. I mean, because look, okay, so I'm a basketball player. When we have to run, it's a punishment. Like I need the
I
basketball. I want
know.
to shoot. I want to do so many different things.
But I
You're
can't
running.
do that. Like these don't work like that. So this is all I have is my legs. That's all I got.
And you get and like so, oh my gosh. So how does your body feel? Like, I mean, are you just used to running like 14? I mean, I'm sure you're used to it, but like I get sore after practices still, and I play basketball every day. Or are you like extremely sore, or is your body just all the way adjusted?
I'm always sore. I feel like I never go
Okay.
into a workout feeling like I feel really good. The only time I feel like I feel fresh, I feel good is like when we go to race because we take a couple down days, let the body like truly recover and rest so that your legs feel like
Wow.
snappier. But there's
Yeah.
most days I go into workouts and I'm just like I don't feel good, but it's amazing what your body can do. Like even when you
Yeah.
don't warm up and you're like, I feel like trash today. And then you go out there and you're like, well, like I got it done. I
No,
sometimes
I
I
think that's
surprise
the best
myself.
feeling.
Our
That's the
bodies
best
are
feeling. Like
amazing.
I've been to practice before, and like it's like those days where you just kind of wake up and you're like, oh, I don't really have it today. Like you just
Yeah, you're
feel
like, "Ooh."
tired, fatigue,
Yeah,
yeah, all of that. And then you go to practice and you might like actually have like a dope practice and a good practice, and
right.
you're like, it makes you feel so proud of yourself. I don't know what it's something about that, like when you don't feel like it, but you crush it, it makes you feel proud of yourself. Now,
I
I
agree.
always
And I
wondered
think
this for runners because with basketball, like if I miss a shot, let's say, I can go back down to the court, make a play, come back, make another play. But when it comes to like runners, you guys like you get your one shot. Like, how
yeah.
is that? Is it? I mean, you train so long and it's this one shot. Like, what is that thought process like?
Yeah, especially when you think about something like the Olympic Games, it's only every 4 years, and our
Yeah.
trials are a one-day event. Like it's one race that decides your fate. Are you on the team or are you not? And so my race is about 9 minutes long. And
Mhm.
yeah, and that's kind of a long race. If you think about like the 100, they're running for
Yeah.
like 10 seconds. And it's like within 10 seconds, like you're either on the team or you're not. The difference between first and sixth is like nothing. And so I think a lot of people just underestimate the importance of your mental game. And a lot of people don't
Yeah.
really think about that with running, but mental health and just working on the mental side of your sport
Yeah.
is often overlooked, but I think is so important. And it's something that you can do that doesn't take, it's not more training, right? It's not like exhausting in the way that running is. So you can do it in your
Yep.
downtime. You can only run for so many hours a day. Like your body is going to max out, at a certain
I
point.
don't know.
And so
You're running 80 miles a week. Like, I mean, I don't know. I would have thought that that's the max out
there's
point.
some
So
downtime.
I don't,
Downtime.
I don't know. So you talked about mental health, and I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought that up because you do a lot of dope things that just don't involve track. Like you have Fast Braid Friday, is it?
Yeah.
Tell me about Fast Braid Friday.
I love your braids, by the way. You're rocking them.
Thank you.
I should have braided my hair for this, but I can braid it right now.
I watched one of them. I hopped in your Instagram live one time and I watched it. It's dope. Like, tell people what you do.
Yeah, so Fast Braid Friday is all about doing something on the outside, like with your hair, that could be seen as like superficial, like it's just hair, right? But
Uh-huh.
for anyone who's in a sport, anyone who, deals with like confidence or anything, that something as simple as what you wear or putting on like a little bit of makeup or doing your hair or having like a special routine before you go is really important to
Wow.
just standing on the line, getting ready for your race, feeling like, like I got this, like confident,
Yeah.
shoulders head up, like I'm ready to rock this. I've been preparing, I've worked my ass off for this, and I want to go kill it. And so for me, usually before I race, I spend like sometimes 15 or 20 minutes doing my hair in like a cool braid style. And that is a way that I prepare. I do it for workouts too. That's a way that I prepare mentally for something that I know is going to
I
be really
like that.
challenging, really hard, really painful. And it's just a reminder to me that like I got my, my fast braids in and I look good, feel good, that
I mean, and
kind of
you
thing.
just
So
did it right there. Like, you better show us how you fast braid. Okay. I like that. And then so
you
you've
don't
done
have
a
to
lot
braid
of,
fast.
I like
I was
that
gonna say
though.
you
No,
don't have
but
to
it's actually
fast,
dope.
feel fast.
I love it. No, I love it. And it's a cool concept. It's almost like a crutch. Like this is your routine. This is what kind of gets you into your thing. And then you
Yeah,
also, there was a time period when we were looking for allies. When I say we, I mean just the community, the black and
yeah.
brown community, just everyone was looking for allyship. And you became one. You shared your mic. And if people don't know what sharing the mic is, it's basically you give up your platform to allow someone else that may not have as large of a platform let their voice be heard, amplify their message. Tell me about whose mic you shared with.
Yeah, I share the mic with a friend of mine, Chiaka Abogu. She's on the U.S. team for volleyball, so totally different sport,
Yeah.
but just a total badass. And she wears her hair in braids a lot too, actually. So we have to talk about that. But yeah, she doesn't have as much of a following and as I do, and I just felt like it's hard for me to ignore the fact that a lot of my followers probably follow me because either I look like them or because society has decided, and this goes back to like a lot of the modeling stuff too, like for some reason
Yeah.
society has decided that blonde hair and blue eyes and white skin is desirable. And so I didn't do anything to be born that way. Like my parents got together and did their thing and then I was here. And so I just feel like it just felt like, well, I didn't do anything to kind of like deserve that extra like limelight on me. And so I wanted, I saw people doing the share the mic thing. I thought it would be a cool opportunity for me to, shed the light that's kind of been on me on someone else who's also working her ass off and doing really amazing things and might just not get as much credit as she deserves for that. We're actually going live again on Sunday to do a little like recovery thing, me and Chiaka. So everyone should check that out. I don't know when this comes out, but we're going to get
Yeah.
together in a few
I love
days.
it.
So she's great.
No, I
And
love
then
that.
Actually, I'll shout out my sweatshirt that I'm wearing. It's called it's Inspire Her, so it's kind of like a play on inspire her as a female.
I
And it
like
is
it.
made by two young girls of color who are, I think they're like around 14. They're sisters. And they have their own merch line. It's called It's
But
Glitz Girls.
that hoodie is lit though. I'm just talking about
I
design wise and
know.
everything. It's like actually really nice.
I know. They're like young girls, like younger than high school. It's just
Wow.
two sisters. They have t-shirts. They have, and it's not just this slogan. They have all kinds of other like things that you can put on them, and they have different colors, t-shirts, sweatshirts, like all kinds of swag. And so, yeah, I found them on Instagram and I pump them every chance I get because I love that. They're totally fearless in their
Yeah.
goals to like be entrepreneurs. And yeah, I love to support that. So it's
I
Glitz
love
Girls.
that. Okay, so there's something else that you're passionate about. It's food. I just read that
Yeah.
somewhere that you're passionate about food. So tell me, what is your passion? Are you a cooker or are you a food connoisseur? You like to taste new things? What is it about food? Like, what are you into?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm into so many things. Like I'm all over the place in my
I
interests,
like
but
it.
definitely food is one of them. My alter ego is Chef Colleen. So whenever I post the food stuff, I call myself Chef Colleen. But I love cooking. I even have an apron that says it. And I have some videos on my Instagram of like stuff that I like to cook. But I mostly cook. I'm not as much of a baker. My sister is the baker, but I like to cook
Yeah.
because you cook, you get to have more flexibility. Like a little bit of this, let's try this, let's try that. And when you
So
bake,
you don't follow
that
recipes. You just cook off the dome.
no, I do follow recipes, but then if it's like, oh, I don't have that ingredient, or like I really like this instead, then I'm pretty loose with the recipes usually.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I
But
like
yeah,
that.
it's super fun. I actually studied
So
I actually studied
no, I was gonna
dietetics
say
at
that.
SU.
Yeah, no,
So
go
that's
say that because I was gonna
yeah.
ask that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where the passion I think well, I think the passion actually comes from like when I grew up, my parents definitely had a big emphasis on nutrition and just like overall health. We had a garden in the backyard. I lived in the city of St. Louis and we had chickens in the backyard. So like no one in the city of St. Louis owns chickens, but my family did. And so yeah, I think just growing up, my parents instilled that with me, just that like we prepare food together and we eat food together and it tastes better that way and it fuels your body and you feel more energetic, like you feel better when you eat that way. And so that's just how I grew up, and I thought that was normal. And then I like got to college and I realized that my roommates did lots of like frozen food and like lots of takeout and lots of things that you just add water and you have a meal. And I was like, whoa, like no, like we no. And so yeah, I think that's kind of where I was like, oh, what I kind of took for granted, not everyone really gets. And so I wanted to kind of spread that and help share that passion and that knowledge about food and nutrition that is easy, and it's not like dieting, and it's not forcing yourself to eat things that you don't like. And I'm not about that at all, but just about like eating foods that fuel you and make you feel good, and not looking for just like the quickest thing and like the easiest thing, but stuff that like maybe it takes 20 or 30 minutes to make a meal, but it makes you feel really good and fuels you and helps you recover and get ready for your next workout.
Absolutely. You're preaching to the choir here. I do understand that as well. Just any professional athlete understands like what you put in your
Yeah.
body, you get out. And so we're coming closer now to the Olympics. Hopefully, like we talked about this year, it really will happen. So what are you looking forward to? What's the feeling leading up to the Olympics this year?
Yeah, it is weird because like we did the whole it's an Olympic year 2020 vision, like we did that already, and so it feels kind of redundant to like do it all again. Plus there just feels like there's so much more going on in our world now that like the Olympics are important, but I think it's also good to just have some perspective and have kind of a realization that like there's a lot of people who are sick and a lot of people who are suffering, and that is obviously, it just feels more important than like going out for the Olympic Games. I think a lot of times the Olympics can feel like the world is coming together and it's like a celebration, and it feels like I don't know, it just feels, it's this like really warm, fuzzy feeling. But it is really hard to kind of ignore all the issues that are going on. So one thing that I kind of have been really passionate about or excited about with this Olympics is that I've been on the USA, the Team USA, make sure I get this right, the Committee for Racial and Social Justice, I think is the official title. And I'm on the protest and demonstration part of that committee. So we're talking about.
And so what does that do?
Yeah, so we're talking about Rule 50, which is a rule in the Olympic Charter that doesn't allow athletes to do any kind of protesting in the Olympic space. So they really want the Olympics to be this like neutral ground where you can't use your voice to like say anything. So you could not, for example, stand on the podium. If you had won a medal at the Olympics, you would not be able to stand on the podium, like raise a fist or.
I knew that.
Yeah, you couldn't do
that.
anything like that. Or you could be punished, you could get your medal stripped, you know, there's all these things that you could be suspended. And there are athletes who have done that at the Olympics or at like Pan Am Games, which is another kind of international competition. And they have suffered consequences like that, like being put on probation, for example. So recently we made some good progress, and Team USA has decided that as a country, they will not punish any athlete who decides to make a statement that is not offensive. So you can't stand up there. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So you can't stand up there and do like a Nazi symbol or anything like that. That's not allowed. But if you were to do something that represented a minority group or an underprivileged group, like that would be protected. So you wouldn't see any retribution from Team USA. Now, that's not a global rule. So the next step would be to get that done at somewhere like a bigger stage like the Olympics, where the Olympic Committee would protect athletes from kind of in that same way, which we haven't gotten there yet, but feels like we're making steps. And at least now we know we have Team USA on our side, and they've got our back, which feels really good.
No, that's huge. Like, because I knew that the Olympics had even came out with a statement. I remember when it happened, like saying that, we're not going to accept any protests or anything of that nature. So that's awesome to hear that the U.S. has decided that we will allow it as far as our athletes are concerned. But what happens on the bigger stage, we can't control. Now, do you anticipate like people doing protests? I mean, this is coming off of year 2020 where there was so much civil unrest. Do a lot of people anticipate protests this Olympics?
I think so. I think definitely at the trials, since now we know that, at the Olympic trials, that's on our turf. And so Team USA will allow that. I think we'll definitely see a lot of people on the podium, whether that's like a special pin, or some kind of, something that they wear, or a hand symbol, something or taking a knee and kneeling, something to show their solidarity and show like, this is a big moment for me, but I want to use that moment to tell, to like really amplify something, that a cause that I care about, and really show what my true colors are, and not just stand there and, let the anthem play and like have that be it. Like I think a lot of athletes will want to do more than that and use that moment, because, honestly, like the day to day, the training, the hard work, like all that stuff, no one really sees that. And everyone's looking. There's only a few certain times in an athlete's career where everyone's eyes are on you. And I think a lot of people, myself included, are like, what do you want to do with that moment? Should that moment come? And getting on the podium is not a foregone conclusion by any means, but like, were that moment to happen, I think it's important to think about, if I get that opportunity, what do I want to do with it? Because in the moment, you don't have that much time to figure out what you want to do. You have to have a plan, and ahead of time, and like hope for the best. And if it doesn't happen, of course, like you'll have to find another way, whether that's in interviews and media, or, there's so many other ways to do it also. But that is a big opportunity when everyone's eyes are on you and looking at you, and like, what do you want to say in that moment?
So do you have a plan? Are you going to say anything in that moment? Have you like thought that out? Are you still planning it?
Yeah. So I've made the team since 2015. I've made the team every summer. to go to either the Olympics or World Champs, whatever like it was that summer. And so I hope to be on the podium again this year and make the team for Tokyo. And I haven't decided what it's going to be yet, but I 100% want to show my solidarity and support. And I don't know if that's going to be kneeling, or there could be something. The same 3 women always make the team in the steeplechase in my event. So I think it would be really powerful if all 3 of us were all 3 white blonde girls, which is kind of ridiculous that we all like kind of look the same. It's kind of creepy.
Oh my God.
But I think it would be really cool if the 3 of us did something together and kind of, instead of like one of the 3 of us doing something, like I'm going to communicate with the other 2 women, it's Emma Coburn and Courtney Frericks, and we always make the team. So I think it would be really powerful if the 3 of us came together and decided what we wanted to do together and just all do it. I think that would be more powerful. And then, no one is made to feel like, oh, I didn't know you had that plan and I didn't do anything and now I feel weird. Like, just avoid that whole scenario.
No, I love that. There's strength in unity as well. And I think it sends a powerful message. I mean, we've seen sports leagues now, the NBA as a collective, because of what happened in Milwaukee, the whole NBA shut down. And then the WNBA shut, and it became a trickle effect. So I love everything you're doing, honestly. Like, even just, we met via DM, and then I just started to see how you move and what you do, and I love it. Like, you are what is an ally should look like. You're what an ally should look like, and I'm happy that we have you as an ally. And I want to say good luck in the Olympics this upcoming summer. I know you guys are going to kill. You will be back on that podium. And thank you for joining me here on Remotely, Renee.
Thank you. Oh my God, it means the world to me that you even asked me to come on. I've been following you for forever and look up to you so much. And I didn't even say this, but congratulations on your retirement. It's been like a week and a half now, 2 weeks. I don't know if
has it been that long? Oh my gosh.
Has it even set in yet? Like, do you feel retired, or how are you feeling?
Man, I feel way busier retired than I was when I was a player, for sure. But no, I enjoy it. It's like, it's different because, like, I've been an athlete since I was like 5. And so my whole life revolved around working out, eating, like, everything you're talking about, my whole life revolved around that. So it's different to be like, you know what, I'll just eat this just because I can right now. And I'm going to right now. So I've enjoyed that part of it for sure.
What do you eat when you can eat whatever you want? What do you eat?
Cheesecake Factory, pineapple upside down cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory. I've been tearing those up. It is so bad, but it's just like, okay, I'll just have one. I have like 2 a week. It's so ridiculous. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Funny. I've never had that. I didn't know that was good.
It's so good. I highly recommend it. It's what my family gets every year for my birthday. It's usually like my birthday treat, but now it's becoming like my year round.
Every day.
Every day is my birthday now that I'm retired, I guess.
That's so good.
That's what you have to look forward to. In case you ever want to go back to modeling after the Olympics are finished, you might not be able to enjoy what I'm enjoying right now. You could go back to modeling, obviously, but man, like, I'm so excited for you because I just love seeing, like, you shine from the inside out, just so you know. So it's not just the blonde blue, like, you shine. And so I love what you do by giving other people your platform and just being there. So yeah, I wish you nothing but the best. USA, USA. Like, I'm gonna stand out
so much. Thank you. I appreciate that.